and just having a knowing and following that intuition to be a part of this. This is something so spectacular to have these ancient secrets to help us. Like, you don't come into these kind of webinars or communities with people unless you have been divinely guided here. And so I, as the oracle, I'm going to speak for a moment because I just need to say some things that I feel that I see coming. But for the people who are doing everything that they can to learn everything that they can, and not just the knowledge, but to practice it, to actually apply it. This is so awesome that we're doing the soul work, because the planet is going to need people like us, the people who probably are the black sheeps of the family, the people who people think are weird and are outcasts, and our beliefs are very different from most of the people around us. The planet they're praying for saviors, they're waiting for saviors, but we are here. And that can sound arrogant to an untrained ear, right? But when you listen with your heart, you know what that means. That means that I have come here to be a god, to be a goddess, and to actually take reality and say, no, I'm not going to go by the 3D programming. I'm going to script my own narrative. I am going to reteach myself. I'm going to unlearn everything I have learned. For me to become wise, first I must become a fool. First, I must let go of everything I thought that I knew, and you are doing that. So congratulations to you, because there's so much. And when you wage spiritual warfare, when you're bringing information that's ancient keys that we were never meant to know, the principalities, there are these energies that are outside of our light spectrum. They're doing everything they can to stop us from ascending, from getting this knowledge.
Okay, yeah.
So they can hear us.
Well, yeah, they can hear us, but it's in the chat too.
Okay, awesome.
The slideshow's in the chat, so if y'all would, she gonna finish, but now you got access to what it was that wasn't giving us some issues on this. Yeah.
So I want to encourage you, before we get into what we're going to get into, we're going to try to just flow through this because it's a lot of information. And that it would take 6 weeks to learn, and we try to figure out how to put it into a webinar. So we may go over the 2 hours just a little, because there was information that came through last night that showed us how imperative this was going to be. So we have been having to add stuff last minute. We stayed up all night to add these things. So I want to encourage you, and I want to let you know to not be fearful to the point where you're not going to continue to move forward in your path of awakening. The path of awakening is not one for weak people. It is not one for people who are afraid of change, for people who are afraid of chaos. Chaos must take place. Death must take place. The energy of today is actually death, according to the Mayan calendar. So for the old world to come in and the age of Aquarius to be birthed, the old world must die. That means some things in your life got to die. Some of your comforts is going to die. Some of the things that you've been doing that comfort to you, it's not going to comfort you anymore. Your family situation is constantly shifting and changing, and it feels out of your control. You feel oppressed like never before. All of this is what happens when someone says, I'm going to go back to the planet of Earth in this low 3-dimensional matrix, and I'm going to remember who I am. And I am going to learn and walk a path that is a path that not many walk. So in the Bible, it talks about the narrow path, and it talks about the wide path. And I use the Bible because the Bible is just a culmination of many ancient texts. And so there are a lot of things in there that are accurate and can be used. But when the Bible talked about that, what it was saying was that the price that you would have to pay to walk away from the masses, the herds, the people who are unconscious, the people who are below the veil of consciousness, they don't even know what questions to ask to get free. They're enslaved. They can't even deal with the answers. So they may ask the question, well, who is God? Well, who do you believe is the Messiah? Well, do you believe in Jesus? Do you believe in Allah? Their mind just cannot process. So just for you to be here, that is a huge accomplishment. You decided to be here on this planet in this chaotic time. We're going to see devastation like never before, leading up to January, coming in and letting y'all know now, the next 2 to 3 months. I haven't went publicly with this yet, because I don't want to be instilling fear in people. But I have to warn people so that you're prepared. So what the most important thing to be doing is making sure that you are walking in your authenticity, making sure that you are affirming yourself every single day, all day if you have to. Don't even wait on nobody else to pat you on the back or tell you thank you or I appreciate you. Don't even expect it to look for it. You have to live unattached. And you can live unattached but still be a heart-led person. And so this requires a level of wisdom where you're not going to be using your head and logic anymore, where you're tapping into the parts of the brain and the DNA that are unlocking as we're going through this light code activation. So we got this. We're going to get through this. But for people to recreate a new frequency on this planet based on our galactic signature, we had to go through some initiation of fire. So that's why we named this Phoenix Rise from the Ashes, because I was feeling the fire. Ernest was feeling the fire, and I was like, shit, maybe we need to just creep our asses on back to the 3D matrix belief system and just stick with it. At least we know it, you know? But it was just something in us was like, hell no. Right. Your ass that came too far to go back into prison now, you know? No, you got to get free and you got to anchor the energy so that the generations coming up behind you will be free as well.